Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday the 1st of May, so a happy May to you. Pinch and a punch, first day of the month and all that. Anyway, and no return before you send the boys around. Right, so this euro dollar then today, well, we've got Swiss, sort of, the French, Germans and the Italians all taking a day's holiday today, as it's a Labour Day holiday, which apparently turned out as a striking day originally, has now become a national holiday. And not only that, Bangladesh, I think a few other countries actually celebrate it. So the long and the short of it is that effectively liquidity, because some of the banking systems are not working, will be less. So we may, as I say, get less volumes through the markets, or less volatility maybe, we'll see. We do have the UK banks are still open, US banks are still open as far as I can see. No holidays there, so may see some volatility, but it may just be a bit quieter, particularly this morning. Okay, so the euro dollar first then, and well, it is selling off again. Looking yet that it may head down towards that daily 200, so that's a sort of a target I have in mind for any shorts. But where are we at the moment? Well, there's almost a bit of divergence going into last week's lows. We've just finally coming down towards those at the moment. But it still looks pretty good for, well, maybe at least down to daily S1 today at the moment. Any breaks the 60-minute 8, that trend line running across the top there, may see it come back to the daily pivot. It hasn't done that obviously yet. It has got a daily pivot, still got the weekly pivot and the new monthly pivot. All three of them are sitting above us. Any rallies, well, they would certainly be coming into being targets, but for now it looks like it's on the short side for today at least, or for this morning at least I should say. Early morning, I'll rephrase that. Okay, the pound. So the pound, well, it didn't do too much yesterday in the end, unlike the euro, which sold off a lot more relatively. It has sat there consolidated, put a little doji bar in. Again, we've got the new weekly pivot still untouched above, and of course the monthly pivot sitting up there as well. So any retracements on these markets, there are some targets for them. We'll see what happens as we run through the week. If the US data does come out a bit soft, well, they will be certain targets. But for now, it does look bearish but choppy. We do have some news out this morning for UK. We've got the manufacturing PMI, which does create a bit of volatility generally, 20 pips, around about 20 pips some days. So we'll see what happens there. That's at 9:30. And the net lending to individuals comes out around about the same time. It also shows gives you an idea of how the money flow is going in terms of individuals, what they're spending, what they're borrowing. So that's at 9:30. I'm just looking. The Australian governor is speaking at 10:20, and then 1:30 we've got the Canadian GDP, which is a monthly number, which never really moves the markets too much, but creates a little volatility. And whilst I'm here, I may as well look at the 3 p.m. figure. Then is the ISM manufacturing data coming out. That's the main numbers today. So there is a bit, not much significant. So anyway, pound currently looking weak. Any break maybe of that. Actually, it's caught its daily pivot. So at least, so maybe if it can break the 50 moving average, 60-minute 50, maybe it's got a chance to move up towards that 100 and the weekly pivot at some point. But as I say, at the moment to me it all looks weak, technically, fundamentally as well. Okay, dollar yen, well, it looks like we might go back and challenge those highs from last Friday's high, pitching up towards it at the moment. Still got the 200 sitting above there. 200 moving average sitting at 110.20, and again, like with a lot of these markets on the dailies, it seems to be a reasonable target. Any break to the downside, is just look through here what's happening. There's still divergence. It's not really, because there doesn't really, or maybe divergence on the even the shorter time frames there, sitting through the yen, but again, yesterday sold off quite solidly for a while in the afternoon and pitched it all back. It's taken it all back again. It has got an untouched daily pivot below. Maybe if it it looks like it's just popping in there. Not really a divergence using the. Let's have a look and see if it's. No, not really. I don't think it's maybe a divergence sitting there on the RSI, but a MACD rather. So maybe we'll see a pull back towards the daily pivot there. Maybe a bit more, but it's trying its best to push up at the moment. Aussie dollar. So the Aussie dollar, I know nothing. Oh, he got something. Here we go. So almost bearish engulfing bar in the end yesterday. Solid sell-off yesterday in the end. It does look like a bit of divergence on the dailies, but it's still, and here again you've just got this sort of divergence kicking in, but it's still looking to me like it may want to drop down low. There's not a lot of great news there at the moment, and technically, well, putting in lower highs, lower lows still. To get bullish, maybe a break of the daily pivot would be a possibility, but for now it does look like it could be heading down towards that S1. It is early, and there, and I would imagine on some, maybe on the MACD again, yeah, we've got a bit of divergence on that MACD, on the hourlies there as well, so possibly we could see some retracements, but technically it still looks weak, and it's got a hell of a lot of retail traders long on it at the moment. Okay, Canadian dollar, chop chop, still in range yesterday. It could well just stay in this chop. It's stuck there at the moment, and we've seen it before. It runs through a week or two of chop, and there's little in the way of obvious direction coming from these time frames. Maybe in the short term, if we can break through that daily pivot, we could pitch back up again. But it's put a lower high, lower low in on this 60-minute on the big pit, or on the 4 hourly as well. It does look bitty, and well, maybe, as I say, if it breaks that daily pivot, it may give a run up towards that R1, the prior highs. But not the clearest in terms of direction, a trend really on the dailies. Right, that's pretty much it for me. Hope you have a great day. Bye for now.